Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and Ramadan Mubarak to everyone. I welcome everyone to this session which will present a reflection on the 8th part of the Qur'an. However, I will focus on Surah Al-An'am, although the first part of the surah is located in the 7th part of the Qur'an, but the second part of the surah, which is located in the 8th part of the Qur'an, brings messages and lessons that we can learn and we can understand the first part better by reflecting on the second part. Now, Surah Al-An'am refers to livestock, cattle or farm animals such as camels, goats, cows, lambs, and so on, which were regarded as pillars and sources of luxury and pleasure by the Arabs before Islam. As a result, the Arabs term Al-An'am from the basic word Nun Ain Mim, the root Nun Ain Mim, which is also the root for the word Ni'mah. So the Arab term these animals as Al-An'am, which implies enjoyment. If this is the only meaning of happiness, then this is a flawed understanding. Understanding this type of bliss is detrimental to humanity. This is not the only ni'mah, but there is a greater ni'mah that we will learn from Surah Al-An'am. So we can learn from the hadith that, not the hadith, the words of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abdullah ibn Abbas is known as the one who is proficient, who is endowed with the wisdom of ta'wil. Abdullah ibn Abbas remarked that anyone who wishes to properly understand the ignorance of the earlier Arabs, he should read the verses after the verse number 130 to verse number 140 of Surah Al-An'am. In some riwayat, it is mentioned that he should read after verse number 136. I shall read the translation of these verses from verse number 130 to verse number 140 of Surah Al-An'am. The translation here: O company of jinn and mankind, did messengers not come from among you to recite my revelations to you and warn that you would meet this day? They will say, we testify against ourselves. The life of this world seduced them, but they will testify against themselves that they rejected the truth. Your Lord will not destroy towns for their wrongdoing if they had not been warned. Everyone is assigned a rank according to their deeds. Your Lord is not unaware of anything they do. Your Lord is self-sufficient and full of mercy. If He pleased, He could remove you and put others in your place, just as He produced you from the offspring of other people. What you are promised is sure to come, and you cannot escape. Prophets say, my people, you carry on as you are, and so will I. You will come to realize we will have a happy homecoming in the hereafter. The evildoers will not prosper. They apportion to God a share of the produce and the livestock He created, saying, this is for God, as so they claim, and this is for our idols. Their idols' share does not reach God, but God's share does reach their idols. How badly they judge. In the same way, the idols have induced many of the pagans to kill their own children, bringing them ruin and confusion in their faith. If God had willed otherwise, they would not have done this. So Prophet, leave them to their own devices. They also say these cattle and crops are reserved, and only those we allow may eat them. So they claim. There are some animals they exempt from labor, and some over which they do not pronounce God's name during slaughter, falsely attributing these regulations to Him. He will repay them for the falsehood they invent. They also say, the contents of these animals' wombs will be reserved solely for our men and forbidden to our women, though if the offspring is stillborn, they may have a share of it. He will punish them for what they attribute to him. He is all-wise, all-aware. Lost indeed are those who kill their own children out of folly, with no basis in knowledge, forbidding what God has provided for them, fabricating lies against him. They have gone far astray and have heeded no guidance. So, my brothers and sisters, if we pay attention to these verses show to us or demonstrate their misunderstanding, the misunderstanding of the people before Islam, of the meaning of enjoyment, the meaning of ni'mah, the meaning of nourishment, and this is such a devastating loss, ignorance of the knowledge of truth. When we look at the verses that come after these verses, it will become clearer to us how they misunderstand their enjoyment, pleasure, and luxury in relation to sustenance, offspring, gardens, and plants, as well as the main pillar of sustenance for them, which is al-an'am, the livestock, a flawed understanding of pleasure. Now we move to the beginning of Surah Al-An'am, we will see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned and the surah begins with a clear indication of the understanding of the perfect enjoyment, the true ni'mah. And we see the beginning of Surah Al-An'am, Alhamdulillah الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور ثم الذين كفروا بربهم يعدلون. It begins with the praise to Allah. So those who can perceive the right ni'mah, they will praise Allah. And it begins with testifying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who created the heavens and the earth and all forms of darkness and the light. So He is the source of guidance. He will guide those who understand the right meaning and the right concept of ni'mah. And we will see that throughout Surah Al-An'am, there are many times repeated in that surah the pronoun huwa or he, which reflects the emphasis of Surah Al-An'am on He as the God, He as the Creator. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the style of taqrir and talqeen, statement and also instruction. Many times the word qul, say, or Muhammad, say, or Prophet, is repeated in the Quran. In fact, I think this is the surah with the most repetition of qul. It is repeated 44 times in Surah Al-An'am, which reflects how the surah is instructing the readers to understand the true ni'mah, which is guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the sincere and pure relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those who understand this will gain the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank you.